Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. We are working on a Jeep Liberty today, and we are actually going to be replacing the air conditioning compressor. Tried charging it, want to take a charge, low side, just like maxed out, so it was time to change the thing. I think it's a 2006 if I remember correctly. But anyway, here's the new compressor, and it had a label on it. It said add oil here, but it said this compressor is pre-charged with 3 ounces of oil. So make sure that you get a compressor that actually is pre-charged with oil. It will make your life a lot easier. It's one less step that you have to worry about doing. Make sure it comes with like brand new seals. It's definitely helpful as well. Okay, so right into it. This is probably one of the easier compressors you can probably change out on these Jeeps. And basically, you have this connector here. Basically, snap forward, and then you disconnect that. Give yourself some flexibility and room. I like to disconnect this top one as well. You basically just push that tab forward, and then that kind of like falls out of your way. Now, you do have to get the belt off, but it has the serpentine sequence, which makes life so much easier. So let's just use our serpentine tool. If I can remember what, oh, here we go. If I could remember what drawer it goes in. And let's see if this is the right crow's foot. That's a 14, so it's probably maybe a 16 on here. Yeah, so it's a 16 to basically get your belt loose. So, and me, I always forget, but I think it goes that way. So, unroute it from there. Put that back forward. So we can get this out of the way. We'll need that in a little while. Okay, so again, you have 2 bolts up here that are the lines. Make sure that you drain the lines out, you vacuum it out, which I have already done. And then you basically have a bolt here, and then you have 2 bolts in the front here, and then that basically comes out. Easy, I can't say, because you're always going to have some sort of corrosion. But if you look on here, again, you have these 2 brackets here that are holding it in place, and then you have that one nut screw up there. So, and it's been a while since I've done one of these, so if I'm a little sloppy, I beg your forgiveness. But let me see, I think I got 14. 14, that might be a little bit bigger than that. 14, 15 millimeter. All right, so we're 15 millimeter on these front nuts. And the back one's probably a little bit smaller, but let's get these front ones out of here, out of the way first. And it's a little tight in there with the bracket. So put a little extension on here. Okay, so get that going. So that one's pretty loose. Probably gonna actually get that off with the, actually it's coming out pretty easy. So normally you put an extension on that, which I think I'm gonna end up having to do. And then this one over here. Yeah, same thing. Let's put an extension on there to break these a little bit easier. I don't want to go too long, but we might have to. Or this bottom one. Okay. That was probably too long. So we'll go with that smaller one when we powered out with the old Milwaukee. We're going to go. Okay, so that's one bolt out. I'll put that there. This one over here. Alright, so that's your left and your right. And like I said, I think this is a different nut size up here. Yeah, it's pretty dramatically different. So let's try to guess and see what size that is. Let's see, if memory serves me, it might be a 12, but yeah, probably gonna be a 13. Okay, so we're 13, and same thing. Let's get our little Stanley on this. Break it. That came up pretty easy. So that's that third back stabilizing bolt out of the way. Alright. Now, like I said, she's not going to come out that easy. But you can wiggle it around a little bit. Let's spray it down with some WD. Bring on these bracket pieces. So squirt in there. Squirt in the hole. I'll just squirt everything down, make sure it moves a lot easier. Alright, now, these might also be 13, yep. So let's break these. And let's put a little bit of extension on this as well. Just keep everything nice and clean. This one. Okay. That's going to be the top one. I'll get this bottom one here. That'll make you jump back. Alright, like I said, I did relieve the pressure on this, but evidently there's a little bit more in there. Okay, we're going to remove this just to give us a little more room. I don't remember having to remove that last time, but things certainly change. I'm a minimalist, so I like to remove the least amount of things possible. But sometimes you got to remove a lot more than you wanted to. There goes the Milwaukee on the floor. Okay, so we'll just move that out of the way. That'll give us a little more room to get in there. Alright, so you can see how it's got a seal on there. And then we can probably pull that off. Pull the old seals off. Once we get this line out completely. Like I said, it looks decent shape. But let's get the compressor out. So we have some more room to work. I'll have to put a little bit of a pry bar, I would imagine, on here. And you don't need that much force, just have a little helping hand. Okay, here we go. So that's the old compressor out. Make sure you don't dump it upside down because you'll spill all the oil out. And that is a core, so they actually want that back. And then we can do some work on this because it has these studs that you got to put in. So it's a mini little socket. And we got to get these old pieces out. Not old pieces, but you're going to have the little caps on there, and that's to keep you from all the oil spilling out. That. We got some compressor oil in there. You can see it all, the inner workings down there, and there's some oil shooting up at me. All right. Now let's replace the seals on there. Okay. All right, so let's put this compressor over here out of the way. And we're going to remove this one seal. There's a little seal washer that goes on there. So that's garbage, but we're going to keep it here so we can match those two up. Careful not to drop anything. Now, I guess it doesn't really matter what side goes where. So that's small. So this was the large one, so we're going to take this one. Put this little gasket on. Then we're going to put this little rubber seal. Okay. Then we're going to take this one off. And then we're going to peel this gasket off. Okay. So that's the other side. You can see the difference. Okay, let's put these on. I'll put this new gasket, and then we'll put this new O-ring on. Give it a little help to get over the lip. Okay. Just run your finger across so you get some oil and lube on that. Alright, we're done with that pick tool. Keep these wires up and out of the way. And we are ready to mount our new compressor. So, oh, it already comes with a little pressure grommet in the back. Grommet, you know what I mean, okay. That in a little bit. Tap with a hammer. Around the back with a screwdriver. What we're going to do is we're going to spray some WD to help guide this in a little bit. Make that slip a little bit better. back into place here. And then we'll slip this one back into place up here. Okay, so those are good. Make sure no oil spills out. Oh, we gotta put these little guys in. And let's see what size these are. 6 millimeter. This one real quick so we get a little more room. And typically you do this when you have the compressor out of the vehicle, but I was in a little bit of a rush. You want to go until it you'll feel it kind of like bottom out. Right there. And don't over tighten these. Of course the socket is stuck. Why wouldn't you get stuck? Alright. There we go. Bet you didn't know you were going to get a free video on how to release a stuck socket. Alright, there we go. Alright, so let's put this back on. Okay, so this little connection doohickey's going to sit up here. Alright, now we can put these nuts back on. So we got to line that front one up. I think we might be pretty close. There we go. So that's just about lined up. Let's get that bottom one, which is this one, set in. Get the little back stabilizer guy. Okay, and those are all 13s. Left Milwaukee on the bench. Alright, so let's tighten this guy first. Good. Let's do these. Okay, we'll tighten them by, let's torque them out. Okay, you don't have to do He-Man tight, but torque them down. All right, let's do these fronts. Okay. Sorry for that. I do a quick readjustment with the camera. Make sure we have this properly in. That's not the 13. That's 15. Make sure we're grabbing the threads before we get kind of aggressive with it. Okay, make sure we got this sucker in there. Okay, torque that down nice and snug. Okay, so we're good there. That's everything's nice and tight. Let me do some quick cleanup. Don't worry, I'll speed you through this part of the video. Alright, now we can hook up our wires again. So this will be the top one. And then this will be our little bottom guy. Of course, it's a lot tighter than it has to be versus factory spec. Okay, so we go through here. That's in, and then that little clicks there, and that kind of like sits there. All right, so I'll put this little air tunnel back on. Okay, now let's put our belt back on. And we'll put it up over a compressor first. So everything lines up good. Mount that there, that's good, that's good, that's good. Get that ready. Put that forward. Make sure everything is seated properly, nice and snug. That's good. That's good. Didn't miss anything. All right, there you go. That is your quick in and out compressor, air conditioning compressor switch out. Next, we recharge the unit up. So stay tuned for that video. I may or may not include it, so stay tuned. All right, Brian from Garage Mahal. Thanks for watching, as always. All right, Brian from Garage Mahal. Back to the Jeep Liberty. We are going to charge the unit. And first thing you want to check for first is how much refrigerant it's going to need. So it's calling for 1.12 pounds of 134, which we have here. Using this new valve set that I actually got because my other one broke. So I'm kind of happy because I was time for an upgraded system. So anyway, so you want to make sure you get these on your high and your low side, and then you are going to have this, your yellow hose connecting up to the vacuum port of your vacuum pump. And even though this is new, a new pump, we want to make sure that it's vacuumed properly so there is no humidity left inside. So we got that set. Now you got your high and your low line. So it's kind of hard to confuse these, especially like on a car, because they will only go on one way. So that's going to be your high, and that's going to be your low. Don't worry about if you've confused them, because they won't actually go on. They are only made for the actual valves they're supposed to go to. So we're going to open both of these lines, high and low, completely. And now we're going to turn on our vacuum pump and watch the gauges. Oh, let's plug in the extension cord here. Okay, so she will start pulling a vacuum pretty quick. I'm going to do the high and the low side. Oh, nice, we actually opened the valves. So we'll open that side. Then we'll open the high side. You want to draw all the way down. And that's going to basically pull out any humidity that might be in the system, any moisture. And I got my handy dandy chart here, so we'll have a good idea. We're about 75 degrees right now, so we're going to be looking at 35 to 45 and then 150 to 170 on the gauges when we're done pulling. Make sure I got that properly snapped down. Yep, that's open all the way. So we're good on the high side. We're drawing all the way down. So we're just going to see if we can't get close to that negative 30 bar. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes, and we're about the 25 mark roughly. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop the vacuum pump. We're going to watch that needle and make sure that it's actually holding a vacuum in the system. And we're going to let that run for about 5 minutes. All right, so we let this run for about 10 minutes, and the needle's not moving, so we are going to start charging it. So we're going to close these valves off so we don't lose our vacuum. And we're going to keep the high side closed. Alright, so let's disconnect this. And then we're going to hook up, let's get our valve case out of the way here. Like I said, great new system. Alright, so we're going to hook this up. We're going to open this up. And we turn our scale on. Then we're going to turn this upside down onto our scale. And we're going to let that stabilize real quick. In the meantime, we're just going to crack this a little bit. Just get a little quick puff out. And that's going to make sure that any residual humidity or atmosphere we have in this line is not in there. So now we got the Freon, see how old I am, the 134A in here, and we're going to zero this scale out. Bring the scale a little bit closer, because we are going to be looking to get this at, if it holds, I think the springiness of this whole thing is going to like make it snap back. All right, so we'll keep going back to that, but zero it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little bit of a charge just so we can get everything moving here. So just open that valve. And you're going to hear it kind of fill the system a little bit. We're going to go nice and slow. We're not going to go crazy on this right now. We're going to get to probably about 0. And you can see we got about an ounce in there. So we're going to let it sit there, 1.2 ounces. Now we're going to start the vehicle. Turn the air conditioner on. And you want to turn your fan relatively on high. Make sure it's set in the air conditioner and cooling mode all the way down. Now we're going to keep feeding it some nice and slow, and you'll start to see this high pressure gauge go. And the clutch won't engage until it senses it has enough in the system. Let me put this on pounds, that's on ounces. Yep, kilograms and pounds. Okay. Keep feeding that. A couple more ounces in there. So see how the clutch engaged? Now the clutch is spinning. So we got about 2.8. Do it a little bit more. The compressor kicked on again. And we'll just keep going slow. It'll keep going up by itself. Got some more coolant. Go to about half a pound. Nice and slow. We don't want to overwhelm the compressor. Alright, still a couple more ounces in there. I try to do like maybe an ounce at a time at most. So it's cycling, which is good. Watch your pressures. So like I said, 75 degrees. So we're looking 35 to 45 operating and 150 to 170. So not quite there. Let's do it some more. Stop at about 9 ounces. Let it cycle a little bit. A little bit more. Alright, so we're at the 1 pound mark. And we're looking pretty good. We're getting close. Let's go up to another ounce. We'll finish it off with a 1.2. And 1.1. We want to watch the pressures on this. So it's about 75 degrees, 35 to 45. We're at 45 here. And you want 150 to 170. So we're a little low here, but you know, plus or minus 10% for accuracy. And let me grab my gauge gun. Now, we should be reading a pretty decent cold temperature inside. So, you got nice chill air coming out. And it's going to continue to drop. So, that's what we're looking for. Nice and chilly 34 degree air coming out. So that's basically good. We're going to watch the pressures. So we put it to 1.1, almost 2. We're going to open up. We're going to get a little bit more. Alright, so we're going to top that off. So that system's running nice and good. 35 to 45. We're right at 45. And 150 to 170. So we're a little bit low on this, but like I said, it looks like it's performing perfectly. And let's give it one more shot here. And oh yeah, that's blowing nice and good in there. So it's about 33, 32, 30 degrees. So she's chilly. Okay. So anyway, we are all done with this compressor repair. Everything looks good. Now we're going to cut the valves off, take everything out, and this job's done. Brian from Garage Mahal, thanks for watching, and that's how you replace your compressor and charge up your system in your Jeep Liberty, or for that matter, any vehicle that you have. Pretty much the same across the board. Anyway, be safe out there.